want to share with you a problem that I have that I don't know how to solve. It's a frustration of mine. And it's that I wear a mask with you much of the time. It's this mask of like holding back and kind of making things, kind of softening things or treating things like in a casual way. And I wear it because I don't want to scare people off. I'm afraid that if I was straightforward, then people would think I was too intense, or they would think I was crazy, and they would write me off. So I want to pull back the mask a little today. I don't think this is going to be like groundbreaking stuff or something, but like there's a little bit of risk to be more vulnerable, and I sort of waited on purpose because I wanted time for you to come to trust me and to know that I love you, so then we can take a risk. So look at the readings that we have today, okay? What we should be preaching about, what I should be preaching about today, like, look at this gospel. Jesus' mission is St. Luke's mission. St. Luke is given the same mission as Jesus. Jesus gives his mission to us. That is to set captives free and to give sight to the blind. And we all have a role in it and parts to play because, like we heard in the second reading, we're all parts of this body. And then we would end that preaching with a plan. Like, here's what we're going to do. Number one, we will train and get organized and make preparations. Number two, we'll receive our responsibilities and orders. And number three, then at the right time, we will execute to fulfill the mission that we have been given. Okay, some of you are ready and eager for that. And some of you, I think, would answer, maybe the majority, I don't know, but some of you would answer, yeah, that sounds great. Great success to you. Somebody should do that. Or maybe even you might answer, what are you talking about? We don't do that. This is not what I signed up for when I was a Catholic at a parish. So then we're left with this, like, rather than talk about how we're going to go take risks and go out on a rescue mission with Jesus to find the lost, then I end up just trying to convince the people who are supposed to be the rescuers, the people who are supposed to be like the witnesses to how much Jesus matters, how he is the world's only hope. I end up convincing the people that are supposed to be that all of this really matters. So it's sort of a ridiculous place to be in. Like, do you think firefighters need to be convinced that their mission matters? And then now you can understand why I feel stupid when I have to say things like, please don't leave Mass early. So I wear this mask because I don't want to scare people off. Okay, here's just one example. This is more common than, well, certainly more common than it should be, but more common probably than you think. A couple comes forward because they had a baby and they're ready for baptism, and that's great. And then like on the weekend of the baptism, whatever baptism scheduled after Mass, they show up after Mass and they didn't go to Mass that weekend. And they tell me. I'm like, at least like hide it, at least don't tell me about it. So then I'm faced with this choice, and I never really know what to do, but like I can either wear the mask, and don't be too serious because that would make it awkward, and basically like find some way to get it across, like, oh yeah, well, noisy kids and stuff, but yeah, you really got to go to Mass. You just made a solemn promise about your kid's baptism that you're going to raise them as a Catholic. That includes going to Mass every week. It's a really serious offense to God, and like it's a sin. And kind of slip that in, But if you keep the mask on, then it's just like so easy. They just kind of shrug it off, like, haha, yeah, maybe eventually, sure. Like, wow, this is not a serious thing at all. The reason to do that, of course, is like, because you don't want to chase them off. I don't want to chase them off. I have a responsibility to them. And so, like, maybe if you're that casual about it, then at least they would still be around another time so that they could hear the truth and their life can be changed because of it. But that's one option. The other one is like, to just take off the mask and be straightforward and tell them, hey, like, this is a really big deal. And you can't do this. And it's wrong. And I'm telling you because I care about you. But then you run the risk of being seen as one of those mean, rigid priests. And then people use that as a justification. They say, well, of course we don't have to listen to him because he was mean. Of course, we're never going back to that church or going back to the Catholic Church because, wow, they embarrassed us or something like that. And then they leave, and then all you have is like, well, at least I told them the truth. So you see the difficulty that I have? Priests have this trouble all the time. Today, I hold back, well, today and other times too, but I hold back from talking about the mission in a straightforward way because most people have never seen a parish that's oriented around mission. Most of the time we just see one that's oriented around like survival and sacraments and community. But like a parish that's oriented around mission, it's supposed to look more like a search and rescue station with training facilities and medical facilities, and less like, I don't know, like a living room or a country club or something. And I hold back because I wonder if it would be welcome or if it would be taken as asking too much. You know, Jesus' big trouble in the gospel today, the reason why just after this gospel he gets chased out of the synagogue and they try to throw him off a cliff so that he would break his neck, the reason is he went to these other synagogues who did not know him, and they were like happy to hear what he had to say. But this is his own synagogue. He came to his own people who knew him, who had expectations. And Jesus said something different that they weren't used to, and that got them riled up. And that is what they rejected, because he was breaking status quo. So I'm saying all this not at all because I want you to, I'm not even really faulting any of you, and I don't want you to feel guilty, but the point is that I want to share with you my difficulty, and I want you to be hungry with me for a solution. So here's a little glimpse, okay? This is like, I'll pull back the mask for a second. The work of the church is the most important work in all of the world, and so it should be the best funded, the best managed, the best planned, the best executed, the best staffed. Like, this is the most important thing that happens on earth, because it has to do not just with our life here on earth, but with where we go for all eternity. Okay, the work of the church is the most important work in all the world. The work, not just of the big church, but of this church. And we at St. Luke have this unique responsibility and privilege because of where we are, that in addition to preaching the gospel to everybody in our area around Allendale and the surrounding region, we are here to specifically for this campus, Grand Valley. There are 20,000 students there. Some of you are here. There are 20,000 students there, and I don't know what you see when you go up there, but when I look around, like trying to see from the gospel, you look around, I see 20,000 captives who are blind and oppressed and do not know, and who need to be rescued and set free. Okay, if we don't belong to the Lord, we're slaves to sin. And it's our job, it's us specifically, it's our job to go and find them and to set them free. Now, this is like good news and bad news, because we're like just now touching, and this is awesome, but again, it's also kind of bad news. We have 1% of the students at Grand Valley in some sort of Bible study or small group at St. Luke. Okay, we like just hit 1%. That's like, wow, that's a lot. But like, it's 1%. We're responsible for the 99% also. I wouldn't say that we're failing in our mission, because I wouldn't say that we're trying at our mission. I would rather try and fail. Instead, we're like dabbling. Most of the time, the actual mission of the church is treated like a hobby by parishes. And for most of us, like the people, we look at the people who are invested in the mission, who are willing to give themselves to it and make sacrifice for it. It's like kind of extreme, or at least kind of special. But this is not like a unique call. This is the mission of the church that Jesus has given to us. Like I said, I don't think we're failing, because I don't think we're trying. We're more like dabbling. We're not actually trying to fulfill our mission. And like the only way I can get across like how important it is to say that we have no idea how important the mission and the work of the church is. If we did, after we gave every minute that we could and every dollar that we could, if we did understand how important all of this is, that after we gave everything, in the end, we would say, it was not enough, and I wish I had given more. So that's like, the mask can go back on now. I'm not sure what to do. Because even in that, I'm still holding back. And I still think that if I gave you the whole truth, or like pitch this to you, I don't know, you might think I was crazy. So I'm with this. The world that needs God, the world that is lost without the salvation that Jesus brings, the world and its misery and despair and meaninglessness, the world that is enslaved to darkness, is not going to wait for us to decide whether we're in or out.